guys, how's it going? It's Al. We have the recap of everything that happened on DraftKings in week 6. I'm going to go over my Best Buys article and tell you where I was right, where I was wrong, what smashed, what missed. We're going to take a look at where we got lucky and unlucky. I'm going to show you my cash game lineup for the week, as well as go over my lineups from the Millionaire Maker. We're going to break down the top 10 finishers and shout them out from the Listener League and do all of it for you right here. So thank you guys for being here, and let's go.
He's a legend.
The week 7 SmizzGang Listener League is posted. It is 5,000 spots in it. It is a 3 max tournament, $10 to enter, and it is absolutely rake free. The best tournament that exists on DraftKings. You can go to smizzle.tv/links. You cannot find this game in the lobby. So if you're looking for it, scrolling around DraftKings, you're in the wrong spot. You have to go to smizzle.tv/links, and you will find the Listener League in there. You'll also find the links to my Instagram, the Twitch streams. You'll find the Discord and everywhere else that you want to be if you want to be a part of the SmizzGang community. So enter the league and click everything else right down the list when you get there. And good luck to you in week 7. Here we have Best Buys as I roll over like every menu on ESPN. Annoying. Unfortunate cover for this one. We'll go position by position, player by player. Josh Allen, guess what, guys? He's really good. 329 yards, 3 touchdowns, ran for 32, 30.36 points, smash. But like every week, Josh Allen's a smash. He's just really, really good. Patrick Mahomes completed 25 of 40 for 338 and 2 touchdowns, ran for 21 yards, 24.6 points, did not get above 30 like we kind of want him to. This game was not as fast paced as we wanted it to be. It was very much a heavyweight fight with them jabbing at one another throughout the entire first quarter. Neither team wanted to give up anything deep. Very evenly matched teams, very entertaining teams, but Patrick Mahomes only 24.6 points here. It's fine, but like it's not the 30 points. It's 6 points off of what Josh Allen did. Tom Brady, funny. Patrick Mahomes completed 25 of 40 for 338 and 2 touchdowns. Tom Brady completed 25 of 40 also for less yards and less touchdowns. 243 yards and 1 touchdown. Maybe going to a wedding in another city is a bad freaking idea right before a game, Tom. I don't know. 13.76 points is not good enough against the Pittsburgh Steelers, suiting up a bunch of defensive backs who were bagging groceries last week. Awful. Just an awful performance. Geno Smith turned back into a pumpkin, completed 20 of 31, 197 yards, no touchdowns, ran for 48, 12.7 points. Not great, Bob. Saquon Barkley, like all the running backs were fine. All the running backs, you were fine. Saquon Barkley, 22 for 83 and a touchdown on the ground. Caught 3 of 3 balls headed his way for 12 yards, 18.5 points. And unfortunately for people in fantasy, daily fantasy, or season-long leagues, he slid correctly on the 1 yard line to secure the win and end that game instead of going up by 11 and giving the ball back to the other team with 1 minute and 10 seconds left where anything can happen. He made the right play. Unfortunately for us, he made the right play. We know what happened earlier this year when Nick Chubb did not make the right play and his team lost. So like Barkley made the right play. 18.5 points is fine. Kenneth Walker III, 19 fantasy points. Smash. 21 carries for 97 yards and a touchdown. That touchdown run, that was pretty nifty. He kind of did like a little hop and like, you're going to tackle my legs? Nope. He kind of jumped up a little bit, scooted into the end zone from like 12 yards out, caught 2 of 3 balls, 13 yards, 19 fantasy points. Somehow still pretty cheap in week 7. We'll get to that on the first look on the main channel. Joe Mixon, he's fine. 16.8 fantasy point. Only carried it 8 times in this game for 45 yards. He was efficient on the ground. Caught 4 balls on 5 targets, 23 yards and a touchdown. As we said, touchdown regression is going to happen when it comes to Joe Mixon. Just getting way too much service inside the 5 and inside the 10-yard line to not score touchdowns. So the touchdowns are going to be coming like an avalanche for Joe Mixon for probably the next 6 or 7 weeks, so long as the usage stays the same. Ramondre Stevenson, smash. 19 carries, 76 yards, 2 touchdowns, caught 4 balls on 5 targets, 15. He was good chalk with 25.1 DraftKings points. Leonard Fournette, also fine. I'll take a smash here too. Give me a smash. 21 carries for 63 yards and no touchdowns. 6 catches on 6 targets. And he played above 80% of the snaps once again. So he is still cycling through with Rachaad White, but he's playing way more of the snaps like we wanted to. He's not going to get back to that 95 to 100%, but as long as he stays above 75%, that's perfect for us, specifically with the role that Leonard Fournette has in that offense. Breece Hall, smash. Another smash. Just pound those Smizz smash emotes in the chat. 20 carries, 116 yards, 1 touchdown, caught 2 balls on 2 targets for 23.1 DraftKings points. Steph Diggs, smash. It's getting a lot, there's a lot of smashes this week. And I'm going to get to why it's annoying me for the second straight week that there are this many smashes in Best Buys. 10 catches on 13 targets, 148 and a touchdown. Probably the most predictable smash in all of fantasy this week. 33.8 DraftKings points. Tyler Lockett, I'll take an L. This is fine. Give me the L here on this one. Caught 2 balls on 5 targets. Wide receiver stats are somewhat tied to how efficient a quarterback can be. 17 yards, 3.7 DraftKings points. Not good enough. Chris Godwin, just fine. 15.5 DraftKings points. Got 12 targets. He actually got a little bit unlucky here that Brady was as inaccurate as he was. Ended with 95 yards. Caught 6 of 12 balls. You think he could have gotten to that 100-yard bonus? I think so. He did not quite get there, but got you 15.5 points. Romeo Dobbs, 6.1. Had 9 targets. We got the usage that we wanted, but only 4 catches on those 9 targets for 21 yards. Not good enough. 6.1 points. This is one where we got unlucky. If you can get the volume and you still get unlucky, that's one thing. But like Tyler Lockett, that was a miss. Only had 5 targets in that one. That's how I kind of differentiate between the two. Travis Kelce, smash. 8 catches, 10 targets, 105 yards, no touchdowns, 22.2 DraftKings points. Mark Andrews, smash. 26.6 DraftKings points. I talked about him as an inflection point in cash. I'll get to that in just a minute. Caught 7 balls for 11 targets, 7 of 11 for 106 and a touchdown. He is an every week must play. Finally, I think DraftKings is taking that seriously and moving everything up in terms of the selling, because there's 2 positions where you have massive differentiators. One is tight end and one is defense. If you get that defensive team that gets 18 plus, 20 plus DraftKings points, people like round numbers. They don't like 18, 20 or more from your defense. That separates you from 99% of the other defenses in play that day, because they're just not going to get 20 plus DraftKings points. Same thing at tight end. There are very few tight ends who can reasonably get you 20 or 25 plus on the score sheet. And there's plenty of wide receivers that can get you 10 to 15, way more so than tight ends. Like if you get 9 points from your tight end and you're paying 4K or down, you're like, all right, he was fine. But Mark Andrews gets you 26 and totally separates from that position. It's a massive boon to your lineups. Zach Ertz has been playing really, really well. He's been getting a lot of usage, and that's going to sustain because of the injury to Marquise Brown. Yes, I know DeAndre Hopkins comes back, but it's the little gold thing from Return of the not Return of the Jedi, but Raiders of the Lost Ark, where he went into the cave and he put the bag of sand and the gold little monkey idol, and he just switches it out. So all the targets that were there with Marquise Brown are now going to be DeAndre Hopkins. But Zach Ertz is still going to eat. 14 points, 7 of 10 for 70 yards, no touchdowns. That's just fine, especially for the salary. That's another smash. Tyler Higbee missed. That's a loss. 1.7 points, caught 1 of 2 balls for 7 yards. Jacksonville Jaguars sucked, -1 points. The Saints had 4, and the Panthers, the cheapest defense on the board and the chalkiest defense on the board against the Rams. We're going to keep streaming defenses, the Rams, all year long because they just give up too many sacks. 9 points for them. Taking a look at my cash game lineup, I changed my cash game lineup before I went on for the anti-Tinkercast. I thought that the inflection point was twofold. One, it was Steph Diggs or it was Mark Andrews. Okay, now again, this is high stakes. You're going to notice, well, how come the percentages are so high? Because it's high stakes. I'm telling you that high stakes is a different animal when it comes to who plays what and who makes the right plays. The inflection point, Diggs, I did not think was going to be as super high because he was that either or play. But the difference between playing literally any other tight end, right? There was this long train here, or going with Mark Andrews at 26 points is such a massive separator for your team. When you can get that into your lineup, this was close to what my lineup was to begin with. I think instead of Kirk, my lineup would have been a lot better if I had left it. So it was basically this that TJ had, but I had the $2,400 defense. I had the Panthers here, and then I think I had Godwin here with 15, and I would have had 9 there, plus the 26 there. Would have had a lot more points. Would have easily cashed. I snuck into the money, okay? So it paid 15 spots. I finished 12th. I did not double up because it was that big train, so we split. So it is what it is. Survive in advance to the next week for me in cash games. Millionaire Maker, my highest team was 110, but this was my high stakes lineup, and it sucked because Tom Brady went to a freaking wedding, and his wife's a witch. His ex-wife's a witch, and she's cast a spell on him because he now has 1 touchdown in 5 of 6 games. This is not cool, Giselle. Put down the doll. Step away from the needles and stop messing with Tom Brady. At least for the health of my fantasy teams would be great. So I went with Brady stacks. High stakes is weird because high stakes tournaments, you are not having to get off the reservation very much. You don't have to go to like the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th quarterback to get different in those tournaments. You're playing like the top 4 or 5. I am currently in the worst slump that I have ever been, period, at high stakes. The first 6 weeks of this season, I am consistently ending up on the one of the top 4 quarterbacks. If I went with my Mahomes double that I might have had in here, or we had talked about I was going to use a Lamar. If I wasn't going with Mahomes or Allen, I was going to go to a Lamar or a Brady stack. I chose Brady. I chose the worst of the 4. I've done that literally 6 weeks in a row. And so like my high stakes cash game lineups suck. Or high stakes tournament lineups have absolutely sucked. I went with Singletary for leverage in that spot. I ate the chalk on Ramondre because I was convinced that he was very, very good chalk, and this lineup just sucked. I wish it was literally any of the other iterations that I had. My top lineup on the day, all of my top lineups on the day, were Josh Allen stacks. Why I'm not playing 150 Josh Allen stacks every single week, I don't know. But here we are. Josh Allen, Mixon, Stevenson. Like I said, I thought that he was good chalk. 40% in the Millionaire Maker, had 25 points, but like every running back did good. So it wasn't like you couldn't separate. You just didn't get an advantage. You get the advantage over the chalk or by fading the chalk if the chalk fails. When the chalk hits but doesn't slam, like if Ramondre had 40 fantasy points, it would have separated him. But you saw even with Best Buys, like 18 points, 19 points, 25 points, 22 points, 23 points for a lot of the super stud cash game plays at different percentages. You kept up with the chalk by getting off. But when the chalk does not, like Eno Benjamin did not do well yesterday, that puts you in a different position. And that's why you look to fade a chalky player like him. I just felt like Ramondre was not somebody who was fadeable in that spot and in that matchup. Steph Diggs did well. Juju Smith-Schuster at under 5%, as a lot of people were playing whack-a-mole, and they're going to continue to play whack-a-mole with that Chiefs secondary play. Kelsey is the number 1, and the number 2 is going to be literally anybody else on that team. 1 week it's going to be MVS, 1 week it's going to be Juju, 1 week it's going to be Hardman, and then 1 week it's going to be CEH. Good luck picking the secondary guy. The first guy is always Diggs. Zay Jones, Knox, Deion Jackson was only 8%. I think I had like 20% of him. He had 28 points. There were routes to go, and if Stevenson had failed, it would have been easy to get there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lineups that I had in the top 1% out of my 150. So I overweighted the top 1%, but didn't quite get all the way home. As this was an off week in terms of scoring. 1, bye weeks do tend to lead to that. 2, it was like 225 that took down the Millionaire Maker. Taking a look over at the Listener League. Here we have from last week. Before we do that, I did want to remind you, if you had a good week, please consider going to smizzle.tv/charity. We are trying to raise $50,000 from the community, as you can see on the ticker right below me. And every $10,000 that we raise, I will match $10,000 up to 50. We are a couple thousand away from getting to 30,000, where that next match exists. So if you guys can get to $30,000, I will donate another $10,000, which will bring us to 40. And together we can help No Kid Hungry provide school breakfast and lunches to food insecure kids all across America. So please, if the content entertains you, if it has helped you, if you had a winning week, consider every single dollar helps. If you can afford $1, $5, $10, $20, or $100, whatever you can give. Whatever you can afford to give definitely helps. So smizzle.tv/charity. Here are the Listener League winners that we have. Number 1 was Smartin. S. Martin. I don't know if it's is it Martin or is it Martin? It's much spicier if you go with Martin. So Esteban Martin, because Esteban is, I'm assuming that his name is, went with Trevor Lawrence. D-Law. Trevor Lawrence, Ramondre, Breece Hall at 15.8%, Juju Smith-Schuster, Pittman at 0.5 for 29 points this week. Kirk, I like that kind of a bring back there. Look at that. Like Lawrence and Kirk and Pittman coming back. Tunyon at 1% for 19 points. Steph Diggs got the Panthers defense in there at 31%. Ate the chalk on the defense, but got different in enough other spots to stay under 10%, and a 0.5 played Trevor Lawrence. Casanova with a Josh. They're all going to be Josh Allen other than that one, aren't they? Rick 03666, USF musician with a Burrow. Okay, we got Burrow and Jamar with Hurst, like that. JH 1991 going with Josh Allen. Izzy and Mike 305, Mr. 305, Mr. Izzy and Mike, Mr. 305. Killer Fins with the Jamar stack, Jamar and Burrow stack there. I think that's an L. LBN with a Josh Allen, dealt with the 2.9 from Isaiah McKenzie. Wow, IU Champ 95 had a Skylar Thompson stack. If he got anything from his quarterback, he would have just thrived this week. Skylar allowed him to afford basically everything else with Tyreek and Jamar Chase and Steph Diggs. Had the chalk here. 9 points from Eno didn't kill him. It was the Skylar injury that did. Turkey Club. Love a good Turkey Club sandwich. It's form a club. Josh Allen, Fournette, Stevenson, Diggs, Moore, Dobbs, Smith, Juju Smith-Schuster, and the Jets defense that had 20 points. The Jets have been absolutely outstanding. Before we leave, I wanted to remind you to go check out our Discord community, smizzle.tv/Discord. Join through smizzle.tv/join, become a channel member on YouTube, and get access to all the VIP rooms over in Discord. Join the Discord community today and have a full community of SmizzGang members from Twitch and YouTube to discuss fantasy strategy whenever you want. Thank you for watching. Look out for another video right there.
He's a legend.